What's going on, guys? I'm Journey, back with a thoughts video, this time on Final Fantasy Type 0. It's not a bad game per se. It's a pretty good action game. The It has its issues and it has its pluses. Now, the issues I'd rather talk about first is it's not your typical Final Fantasy title. Uh, if you have the ability to play it on PC, I would strongly urge you considering to play it there because you might have more controls over your things like motion blur, which on my playthrough through the PS4, it got really bad, and sometimes it's really hard to see what's going on screen. The other thing is story. It's kind of all over the place. It's supposed to uh, derive from Final Fantasy 13, which there was 13, there was Versus 13, which became 15, and then there was Agito, or Type 0 in this case. So they had three games, and it was going to branch all over the place with these things. But we have what we have here, which isn't technically bad. It just wasn't well thought out, or what I like to say, there was no structure. Because you have a class, it's class 0, and you represent one country in a sense, which is Rubium. And then there's the Empire from another country who wants Rubium's crystals. Now they have their own, but they still want Rubium's crystals. Now, whether it's world domination, whatever the case may be, it's irrelevant. You end up in battle anyway, and you're going around on missions. It's mission based. So you do off mission time. You do have a kind of like a system or a structure where you have specific time to do actions. Actions can be spent with talking to other classmates, going out on side missions, but there's another issue where you can't take multiple tasks at once. So you can only take one task if you have to go out into the world, and even then, it's not specifically accurate on where the actual task needs to be. On the map, there's no marker, there's nothing. So you could be within the area, kill monsters that said that you have to kill on the description, but it just won't register because you're not in the proper location, even though you're kind of there. So it's a bit weird how they go about it. My favorite character is Queen. I love her. And Ace is pretty easy to use, especially if you're more on beginner territory. You have someone like King who uses guns. You have there's a character in there that plays the flute. She kills people playing the flute. So there's a very unique and diverse kind of set of cast with very different personalities. It's just going to be quote unquote dependent on yourself on whether or not this would be right for you. If you're more of the type of person who's into, let's say, the traditional Final Fantasies, this will most definitely not be for you. But for some who probably might have a more so open mind and want to quote unquote experience everything that Final Fantasy has to offer, I would say go for it. Just please do not let this be the first one you do get into it, because then you're setting yourself up for a bad experience going forward, because you might come out expecting Final Fantasy, this is what it is, and it isn't. Don't let this one be your first one. The music is exceptional. It's Final Fantasy. What more can you say? Like I said, the story is just kind of all over the place in the gameplay. It can be hit or miss because of all the action and everything that's going on. You're dodging bullets, bunch of projectiles. Enemies get this rage state where they move like haste. They're hasted, but they move like it feels like they're moving 3 times faster than normal. And not only that, but they hit hard. So you'll come across sometimes like enemy commanders where they'll be raged, well, in a rage state, and then they'll sit there and they'll shoot bullets at you, and they cannot be staggered. It's just, and they'll shoot you and they'll pelt your health away. And it's not even like they don't even need like 4 or 5 shots. It could literally just be 3. So you do have to spend time leveling up. One of the other pluses about this game is, even though that you move through your missions, you're handling your business. A lot of characters, they also level up, but they don't level up with you per se, as in the same exact level, but they get experience points. So it would be within your best interest, if you want to use everybody, to get into the habit of leveling up others as well. There are stuff during missions where they will instant kill a character. So if you do have a preference, and you do come across those situations, because it has been a few, You might get pretty upset, so that's why it's very, very important to consider the rest of your characters. Training is pretty easy. Fighting enemies is pretty easy. It's wonderful. So yeah, overall though, I will most definitely give this a recommendation, especially if you're into Final Fantasy. If you're entirely new, I would say this will be a hard pass until you get more acquainted with the series, so you can actually see what it really is first. Then come back, and then come back here with a fresh mind and then go for it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Final Fantasy Type Zero. I enjoyed it, and I hope if you opt to go for this experience, I hope you will enjoy it as well. Until the next one, guys, take care.